Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is 14th day of DDCDP. It looks to be 14th day, but actually we have been missing some days for assignments. So overall it is 2 months now, but as far as it is the number of classes, so it's the 14th class of DDCDP. Okay, so in this lecture what we will be doing is we will be making some use of some tricks and tips which you may encounter on daily basis in your careers. So hopefully they will be helpful for your future uses. I will start with I have prepared some pages, HTML pages in this HTML tips. So I will go through all of these. Let us start with this one. Don't use widths inside. So I have noticed, as you are newbies and not much experience, though you have been doing very well in this class, that you have been giving widths inside containers or divs. So I will open this file for now. This is just 2-column layout, and I have for example, this is a paragraph inside this container. So if I reduce the size of it to some, here you see this paragraph is flowing outside of the container. What can be the reason?
Due to the width, specific width.
Exactly. So because I have given this paragraph fixed width.
Yes.
Maybe in your Figma design you notice that the width of this text is this, for example, whatever, and you measured it and then explicitly you have given this. So I will show you. This is that div. Inside div there is paragraph, this right div, this paragraph. So I have given it some width of 70 pixels, which should never be the case. Okay. Similarly, you should not give images any particular width unless it is really needed. So for example, I remove this width. By default it takes 100% of the width. Now it takes 100%, and if I it will not move outside of the box. It will shrink accordingly. Is this fine?
Yes.
So don't give widths to elements which are inside divs. The maximum you can do is, say for example, or widths in fixed pixels, that I should say, or rems. Okay, so what we can do is, in case you have to give width for some reason, you can give, for example, width 70%. Now it has some width, but if it shrinks, it will shrink according to its container. So it will never move out of the box. This is one of the reasons. If I go back to fix, say for example 700 pixel, this is one of the reasons you end up on getting horizontal scrollers. Okay, so because of this, most probably you will have some horizontal scroller. So never give widths inside containers. This is one of the tips for today. And if you have to give widths for some reason, then give it in percentages. Okay, same refers to images also. The next step is, let me just quickly go through the list. Okay, fluid padding. I will open this in the browser. For example, this is a box, CSS box, a div with some padding. This is top padding, this is bottom padding. Okay, if I reduce it or increase it, I want this padding to be lesser or mobile. Okay, so for example, let me quickly comment out these two lines, or maybe for now just remove these two lines. Okay, I want padding top to be 8 rem. What is rem? Ram? What is RAM? Basically it is 16 pixel is the default font size. So 8 RAM means 18 multiplied by 6, so something like that. padding dash top is 8 RAM, padding dash bottom is 8 RAM. ठीक है. So if I now check it, this is actually 8 RAM padding top and this is 8 RAM padding bottom. So if it looks probably okay on desktop, but on mobile it will be, I mean, still it is a lot. So I want it to be say 4 RAM on mobile,
Yes.
right? So what you can do is what will normally you do, Shavas? You will create a add media and what's max width, say for example 500 pixels. Here I will make this save 2 RAMs. Right?
Dropbox.
Thank you. Okay, so why is it not working? Is this the same file?
This is not expect.
Max width 500 pixels.
Check it and inspect, sir. It will be
This is the way you optimize it.
Okay, here it is 2. So the bottom line is that on each screen where you want to have separate different padding, you will have to give some media query. Is it right?
Yes.
But there is an easy way so that you are not going to do all this all the time, and that is we will remove this now. We will use something called min property, min function, sorry. So min actually is a function in CSS which takes 2 parameters. One is low, and then I will call it minimum value, and then maximum. So I can give it 2 values. For example, I will give it at 8 RAM, sorry, here 8 RAM and here 2 RAM, right? So this is normally given to something like, for example, this parent top. So I'll give it to this minimum 2 RAM. So on it will never go below 2 RAMs, okay, and it won't increase above 8 RAMs. Similarly, I will give the bottom this. So at any given time, this will minimum will take whichever of these two is minimum. Okay, so there is one technical problem out of these two. Which one is the bigger and which one is the smaller one? Shavas, tell me. This one is smaller, so it will always take this 2 RAM. Technically this is not fine. What we can do is we can make it into viewport widths. So for example, I will make it 10 sorry, not 10, 5 VW. Okay, and this one is 5 VW also. Now because this is a fluid measurement, if this fluid measurement is smaller, it will pick this one, otherwise it will pick this one. Similarly, padding bottom, if this fluid measurement is smaller, it will take this one, otherwise if this one is smaller, it will take this one. So let us now check. Right now notice the padding above, okay, padding top. So probably it is taking 8 rem, but you can see it is shrinking, the padding is shrinking. Why is it show? Even now on the mobile it is lesser. So this is called fluid padding or spacing. So let me just repeat. The first value is a fluid one. Fluid one means, if let me just check if I inspect it and go to computed and go to the box one, is this box, if I zoom it in, notice the padding here, okay, padding top and bottom, right? So if I reduce it, right now the padding bottom is, for example, 92 pixels, top is 92 pixels, because both are the same right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is actually 8 rems.
Yes, sir, 8 rams.
So if I, for example, reduce it, you can see
Yes, sir.
it is getting reduced. Why? Because it is now taking probably this one, 5 viewport width maybe. So if it goes beyond some value here, now this is going to be, maybe it is, if I make it 100%, sorry, 1000. Let us start it again from here.
Increase the percentage. Yes.
So 5 we put add RAM. So let us summarize it. If 5 viewport is smaller, it will take it. If 8 RAM is smaller, it will take it. Okay, so now 8 RAM is 16 into 8.
So in the 5 VW, the value is equal to 92, it mean 8 RAM. It will take the 8 RAM.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it will take 5 VW.
yeah, so out of the two values, it will take the minimum of the two. So at any given point, if 8 RAM is smaller,
Yes.
it will take it. Otherwise, if 5 viewport width is smaller, it will take this. So you can see the padding above now is fluid.
Yes, sir.
You can practice it and come back with how it works. Okay, the next one is okay, let us go for this one. This is just a wrapper div with blue color, okay, and it has one small box inside it. I want this always to be in the center, so what I will do, no matter how the screen is, so this is, it has a very small CSS we have written, that is the simple, place dash items center, and it is shorthand property for align items and justify items in grid, if you remember.
Yes.
So if you just make it something grid, the wrapper should be grid, and then place items makes it always in the center. Whatever is the item, it will be in the center. So in case if you need something like this, the only child should be there should be only one child of that wrapper, which makes it always in the center, even on mobile screens. So you can see it is always inside the center. So you might have seen some login forms in a page where just there is login form in the center,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
and something like this. So maybe you give the container grid and place item center, and the login form will be just in the center always. Okay, this is a very unique trick, this one. If I open, this is header, let me zoom it in. This is header, and this is footer, and this is the text inside. These are three items actually. So if I reduce the size of it, maybe if I make it responsive, you can see it is always, the header is at the top, footer is at the bottom. Have you ever felt that footer follows the content if it is less than some height? For example, let me just remove some CSS from it. This one. Now you can see these three are, or maybe I can remove the grid also. So this is header, this is footer, and this is, sorry, this is we need to change text. This is header, this is content, and this is footer. So this is header, this is content, and this is footer. Ideally you should have the content footer at the very bottom and the header at the top, and then the content. So if you increase some content, for example, right now I add some lorem ipsum, so the height of this content depends upon the text in it, and this footer is attached to it sort of. So if the content increases, only then the footer will push to the bottom. It should not be the case ideally. Say you have a page which has very less content, so footer will be at the top.
Yes, sir.
So this way it should not be so. What we need to do is, we'll make the wrapper display grid, right? Then we need to give it some width, initial width. So the width is, sorry, height is 100 VH. So if we make it 100 VH, and then this stretches to the whole width of the viewport. The next trick is to make it grid dash template dash, and you can see there is this space also which should not be there. So we will make grid dash template, it is grid dash rows auto means according to the text it should stretch. So the first one row should be auto, the second is 1FR, and the third is auto again, and then save. So now this one is up to its content. So if the content of header increases, it will stretch down. The footer same, it is up to its content, and this one is 1FR. So whatever is the free space, it will occupy that. Okay, so now it will always be this, like this, header and footer stay, and because this is 1FR, it moves according to the screen size.
Yes.
Is it fine? Okay, the next thing is which one we should go for? CSS min box. So again this uses the minimum function. This is a box. Okay, if I stretch, make it responsive, check it. So it has some width, and after some width it starts shrinking. What could be the CSS property for it? Anybody? You can see it's of some fixed width, and
Yes.
then it starts to shrink on lower screens.
So it have a maximum width and then width 100%. After that it will stretch.
Yes.
Very good. Something like this.
Yes.
Okay. So it actually has width 70%
Yes, sir.
and max width of this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are right. We have some width. It has 70% width, but it should not stretch beyond this max width. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so for example, right now it is 550 pixels is the max width. It will never go beyond this. Okay, it's not expanding its size because we are increasing this size of the wrapper. So at any given point, for example, at some here it starts shrinking.
Yes.
Okay, because now it is
It will take 70% of the
70% of the width.
Yes, sir.
So there is a shortcut for this. We can use the min again. So I will give it width min this.
Yes.
So whatever is the minimum, it will take it. Minimum function is this. Okay, so for example 550 pixel and 70 pixels. You can change the order too. So if 70% is lower,
Yes, sir.
it will take it.
It will take it.
If 550 pixel is lower,
It will take it.
it will take it. So probably there won't be any change in it. It's 550 pixels, and now because now it is 550 pixels, this one is lower. It is taking 70%. Got it?
Yes, sir.
We can check it in computed. If you come to the width, so you can notice these values here. If I move it to, for example, it's now 920 pixels, and if I check the box, this is the box, the width is 550 pixels, right? But if I reduce it, so now
Yes, sir.
the percentage values are taking effect because they are smaller than that 550 pixels.
Yes, sir.
Got it? So just with one line you can do this with minimum functions. Minimum 550. We can remove these two values now. Both of them are the same. Excuse me. Okay, now we are going to have fluid typography. What is fluid typography? Any guesses? This is heading and this is paragraph, right? So if I check it right now, this is the size of it. So for example, this is heading, and we will come to compute it and check its font size. This is font size 80 pixels. Okay, so if I reduce it, after some value, you can notice the pixel sizes are decreasing, and this is because of and you can see we are not getting that jump normally we get in
Yes, sir.
media queries, right?
Yes, sir.
If I had given it different media queries, we can do the same. So it will be doing it with jumps. Right now it is sort of very rubber like.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
So how have I achieved this one? So if we go to CSS, this is H2 and this is paragraph. So the font size is 3 rems. Let me just go line by line. Right now we will what's the shortcut for commenting things out?
Control forward slash.
Control
Forward slash.
good. Okay, let us start with rems. Okay, what should be the h2 size right now? 3 rems. Okay, 3 rems is 48. Let us make it 10 rem for now. So it is now this much. If I go to inspect and just go to mobile size, it's still this much, because so I need to reduce the size of it. What I will do, create a media query, right?
Yes, sir.
And reduce the, so let us do it. Add media and say max 500 pixel, and I will change it to, for example, 4 pixels, 4 rems. Why is it?
We give it to H2.
Yeah. Is it fine now? Okay, so on max width 500, it will have this size 4 rems, but then on larger screens it will have 10 rems. So if I refresh it now, on 500 or less, you see, do you see the jump now? So this jump is because we are using different media queries. Okay, so what we can do is we can even base our font sizes based on VW, viewport width. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so I will change this font size to, for example, 50%, 5 viewport width, 5 viewport width. So now viewport is larger. Let us remove the media query for now. Okay, so this is 5 view. Let us have it more like 10 viewport, 10% of the viewport.
Yes.
So now this is the size. So if we reduce the size, so it is shrinking because it is based on the viewport width. Viewport is this visible area of the screen, so it is now decreasing. But at certain point it really gets very small, because now the viewport, even if you are, for example, in Apple Watch or anything else, if you have got to check something, so it will be very small.
Yes, sir.
So but you want it not to get shrink beyond a certain value. Okay, it should be from one limit to another limit. So we again need to write a media query and then change it. So that's not again the solution. So though we like the viewport width, what we can do is we will change it to something called clamp. Clamp is a function. This is clamp. So clamp takes 3 arguments. Arguments means something which you pass into the function. When we are in JavaScript, we will have everything about functions, but right now we will give it 3 values. So we can call it minimum, ideal, and maximum. This is something we need to give it. So for example, I will call it I will give it 10 VW. So ideally I want at any given time the width of the font size of the H2 to be 10 viewport width, but it should never go beyond. Maybe on TVs then you will have very large font size for the heading. So for example, on maximum I want it to be 72 pixels and the minimum to be 24 pixels. So now what it will do is, at any given time it will ideally be 10 viewport width.
Yes, sir.
So in the middle normally you give flexible widths, okay. So at any given point it will be 10 view W, but if the font size gets smaller than 24, so it will take 24 pixels.
Yes, sir.
But if it gets larger than, for example, it becomes 73, then it will take 72 pixels. Got it? So let us check it. At any given point it will be,
So 10 rem is more than 72 pixels.
10 rem is more than,
72 pixels. So that's why it's not typing.
no, it's 10 VW.
VW, it's not trim.
So 10, let us just check how is it behaving. So font size is 72 pixels, this one. But if we reduce it to some, here,
Yes, sir.
so here it is taking effect, because maybe we have given it smaller limits, but now the font size is 64 pixels. So here it is taking the ideal width, ideal size, right? This center one,
Yes, sir.
this one.
10 mm.
And if it increases, for example here the viewport increases, so it stops at 72. You can see 72 is static now, it's not increasing. But here below 72 it shrinks. Is it okay?
Yes.
So any guesses what should be the lower limit of it?
24 pixels.
24. It will not go beyond 24. So here we have the lower limit of 24 pixels.
Yes, sir.
So now you can, if we just reduce the size, and here you can see it has stopped on 24. So you can give two extremes of the font sizes, and inside in the middle it will be an ideal one. So ideal one is, if in case let us increase it to 92 pixels, maybe 92 pixels, okay, or 102 pixels for example. So now it will be very prominent. Where is which one? This one? This two. Go to compute it, and the font size is 85 right now. But if it has now stopped on 102, right? And here it is now 93, 92. It is based on the viewport width, but it will stop after reaching 24 pixels. Is this fine?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
so probably with this exercise, these font sizes, you don't need to give different media queries for font sizes. Just with one clamp function
Yes, sir.
you can fix the sizes.
Yes.
Okay. Now we have min max for two columns. Okay, so we already have done part of this, but for example I want these are two columns. Okay, one is the right one is 1 FR. It will occupy 1% of the whole, 100% of the whole free space. But this one is min max function, which is used in grids only. Min max, okay. So min max actually takes two values, just like the other ones we just studied, 100 pixels and 25%. So what does it mean? Any guesses?
It will be 100 pixels.
The minimum width of the first column will be 100 pixels or 25%. So it will take either 100 pixels or 25 pixels. Okay,
Yes.
whichever of them is the smaller, it will adopt that.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, one FR. So let us just check its responsiveness. And let us check this one, the left one. Okay, and go to the widths. So its width is 225 right now. And it stops at 100 pixels.
Yes.
So here it is right now. It will take actually. It will never go beyond this one, but if this value is larger, it will take this one and stop it this one.
100 pixels.
Okay, so right now it is taking, if you just check the width of this, it is 139, which is the width of this 25% of this width right now is 25% of this wrapper. Okay, but if it goes beyond up to 100 pixels, then it will take the 100 pixel one. So 25%, it is right now taking 25%, but if it goes up to 100, so it will stop there and it won't shrink anymore. Got it?
Yes.
And this one is 1 FR, means it will always take the the last one is this one. We already have studied this, but let us recap this one. So these are 4 columns. So if we reduce it to some particular screen size, it will move itself to the last one, and all this is without media queries. Okay, and then 2 columns and then 1 column at some stage, but we haven't yet specified any one for 100%. So let us go to this is simple grid. The width is 80% of the wrapper is 80%. This is that magical one line rule: repeat, auto fit, if you remember,
Yes.
then min max 200 pixels and 1 FR. So it is actually repeating the minimum size is 200 pixels or 1 FR. So if initially, if we just check this one, it is taking 1 FR and there are 4 items in it, so it is automatically taking the whole space. But if it gets reduced to something, for example here it is 1 FR, but if it can't fit 200 200 200 200 with this space, one of them will go down right to the second line, and these again will be minimum 200 pixels. This is also, so it will never shrink below 200. Again, if there is no space for 3 200 ones or 1 FR, so it shrinks to the next line, and so on. On lower screens it is 100%. So this is one of the, in case you have got to create some responsive designs for images or anything, this one line rule is, without writing any media queries, it will this auto fit, min max 200 pixels and 1 FR. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, let us just inspect its sizes for now. The width is 356 pixels. Okay, because the width of the wrapper is 1472 right now. We have given it 80%, so 1472. So 4 boxes of 4 items of 356 pixels each can get fixed inside this wrapper right now. So it will take, it means it 1 FR, it is taking 1 FR, right, because it has space and it will take the maximum of that space. So 1 FR means if there are 4 items, 4 divided by 4, so you are taking this much space. Is this fine now? Forget about anything else right now. Let this one be, you can say it is, let me cut it, 1 FR 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. This is equivalent right now to this.
Yes.
Okay, but this is fixed actually. We will need media queries and all. This rule actually, so right now this is taking effect 1 FR and it is repeating. So if we reduce the size of it, say for example here it is it is still taking 1 FR, right? Just notice this value. It is taking 1 FR because it has space available still.
Yes, sir.
It is still taking 1 FR. Is fine.
Yes.
But if it reaches 200 pixels, for example, here it's still taking 1 FR, but if it reaches 200, still it is in decimals. But as soon as it gets reduced 201, sorry, here, so it goes to this the second line reps, because it didn't had space for 1 FR then, because the limit was 200 pixels. But right now it is now again taking 1 FR, the top row, right? It will again get similar treatment if it reaches something like 200. So because now it doesn't have space, it will shrink to the move to the second line. And similarly right now 1 FR is applicable on these two. But if it reaches 200, so it will move down to the second line. So this is one of the magical great formulas, you can call them, for responsive design, right? Without writing media queries, you are able to create a grid which is responsive. Is it clear now? You can practice it.
So what's the feature of repeat autofit here?
Do you remember we had studied it? If I open this in Firefox has a better grid layout inspector. If I come to this and check grid, where is grid?
So,
Here it is. So this is 4 columns, right?
yes, sir.
So it will fit itself, the columns will be always 4 here, for example, and then it will move to the second line here. The other part one is, if you remember, fill, autofill. So it won't create, it creates new columns.
Yes.
Autofill creates new columns, autofit tries to fit itself inside the wrapper. So now there is a difference. You can see these are two, autofill and autofit, both can be used. Now it is not trying to fit itself.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
it is not trying to fit itself, it creates other columns, implicit columns they are called, automatic columns. So the difference between autofit and autofill is, autofit tries to fit itself
Yes, sir.
and autofill creates new columns
New
of the same
columns, yes.
height. Is this clear? So if you reduce the sizes, you can see at some stage it becomes autofit automatically, the autofill one, and we will make it autofit so that the columns are fit. Now if you come to this again, these are 4 columns, no extra columns are created. You can see it tries to fit itself, but in autofill it will create extra columns. That's the only difference. Any other questions? Thank you very much. So this was all we covered today. CSS min, don't use widths. This is very important. You should never have widths inside. The maximum you can do is you can give it in percentages. One thing I need to clear, we can give padding space or margins, right? Some of you were using margins also inside the wrapper diffs, which is also again culprit. You should not be using margins inside, you should use padding, right? Maybe just for some spacing you can use it, but again if they are in percentages, good. If you have fixed margins, it might move it outside the container. There is another trick, let us just quickly do it. So for example, grid dash spacing .html, I will call it. Let us give it a wrapper. What else we can give? Background dash color. And this is the paragraph. Okay. Now for some reasons, for example, I want some padding to the wrapper, so I'll give padding, say 5 rems. 5 rems means maybe 80 pixels or something like that. So now it has some spacing. So on mobiles I will again create some spacing for it and all that, this, right? I mean spacing is right now dependent upon the wrapper's padding property. This is fine. But maybe you have very strange sort of designs which you need to implement. For example, I have seen you doing this. I will remove padding for now from it and give margin dash left 600 pixels, for example, right? If you are or maybe we can give some padding, still padding 20 pixels. So for example, this is your design. So in Figma, what you have done is you have given it margin left 500 pixels. This is something I have seen in students here, because you are still newbies, you need to practice things. So if I now inspect it here, this again can be because we have given it in percentages, width is this. So can you see this is moving out of the,
Yes, sir.
because you have given it a margin left, fixed margin left.
Yes, sir.
So it will be minus 600 and the box is smaller than 600, so it moves it outside. Maybe it also causes horizontal scroller. You should never do it. So one of the tricks is, I will remove margin left for now. So for example, I make it a grid, display grid, right? And grid dash template dash columns. For now let us make it 1fr. So now it is a 2-column grid. The wrapper is 2-column grid, and I want the paragraph to be
Start from the second column.
from the second column. So what I will do? Grid dash column and it will be 2 to
Yes, sir.
3. Fine.
Yes, sir.
2 to 3, right.
Yes, sir.
If I make it 1 to 2, where it will be? Here.
First place.
If I make it 2 to here it is. So if in Firefox, are we in the Firefox? Not, right? If I move it to Firefox, and inspect the grid, so these are 2 grids, right?
Yes.
Can you see? And we are making the paragraph to be inside the second one. So now you will always have it like this and properly spaced.
Yes, sir.
Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next is maybe if I have some design where this needs to be in the bottom of the container for some reasons. So I will make grid dash template dash rows. Again, if there are 3 rows, let us make it 3 rows. So auto,
Auto.
1FR,
1FR.
auto, for example. So now we have 3 rows, and I want the P to be in the last row.
Yes, sir.
I want the P to be in the last row of the second column. So what I will do, grid dash row, it will start from 1, 2, 3, 3 to 4. And because it doesn't have any height right now, so maybe we give it some height so that you can understand what it is happening. 600 pixels. So now
Yes.
the paragraph is here. Maybe you have some design where you have some image here in the left one and something else here. So rather than giving margins and padding and all that, this will always be now in the this corner of the design.
Yes, sir.
Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
So with creative usage of grid, cells and columns, you can do things like this. Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
For example, we have a design image. Lorem ipsum. Do you know what is lorem ipsum? So lorem pictures. Lorem pixum. This is for dummy images, right? This is the path. Or something like this. Maybe this one. So the path is this. And we want this image to be div class is equal to image and img src equals this. This is fine, and close the image tag. If you refresh the page, let us go to Firefox for this. So the image is here. We want the image to be stretching from top to this one and then this one. So what will we do?
Yes, sir. In the container. In the image container.
Let us display it in this grid. So this is one column, two column.
Yes, sir.
This is row and this is another row. So we want it to stretch from here
Yes, sir.
to this. 1, 2, 3.
1/span
dot image. First let us give it 100% width for some reasons. Maybe if it is not working, it will be because of the parameters, but height auto. Let's see if it is stretching. Not still.
In
Image.
IMG it will be 100%.
IMG. So 100% is this height right now, and I want it to be up to this. So what we can do is, it will start from grid dash row 1 to the last one, 4. So now inspect. One,
Because of the height order set.
one, 2, 3.
Height order.
Why is it not stretching to this last one? That's my point.
Can you make the height 100%?
Sergi, row span. If you use row span, it will work. So it will stretch.
No, it's class image. Okay, we are giving it to image. This is going to be at. That's why these helper tools are very important. So grid dash row this. Now it's stretching. Now it is this again is your test. It's out of proportion, sort of. What can we do with it? Good. So object dash fit cover. So it's much better now. If I need to give it some space, what I will do? This one, padding. Padding is fine now, because we can give it to P. So for example, if you need to give make something like this, you didn't need to provide margins or all that. Okay, so that's it for today. Hopefully it was informative. I was not in 100% of my form for some reasons, but still we have managed to go through this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And from tomorrow onwards, inshallah, JavaScript.